Welcome to our panel. We gathered today to discuss opportunities in life science sector in Krakow. Through our discussion, we want to picture that ecosystem that can be found in Krakow and Małopolska is an attractive one. With me today are Edyta Jaworska, Management Board Member responsible for sale and integrated drug discovery of CRO company Selvita, Agnieszka Blum, General Immunology Director of RDGen, company combining IT and life science sector, and Kazimierz Murzyn, representing Life Science Kraków cluster. And I am Justyna Czyszek, Investor Support Department Vice Director of Kraków Technology Park. Kraków Technology Park that hosts and organizes this panel that will be shown during the Biotech in Europe Forum 2021 is an ecosystem institution facilitating growth of companies on different stages of development in Krakow and Małopolska. To bring motto of KPT to life, that sounds we help companies grow faster, we have a full toolbox of possibilities for companies. We run a startup incubator, accelerator, digital innovation hub. We are also a company responsible for administrating income tax breaks in Polish investment zone program in Małopolska. In our undertaking to introduce our viewers to life science sector in Krakow, the main role will play my guests. We all represent strong entities and companies in Krakow. You work close with Polish universities, with universities located in Krakow, and also hospitals that create an interesting pot of skills and competences. Without further ado, I would like to give the stage to you. Let me first start with you, Edyta, and Selvita. You have been involved for many years in growth of your company of Selvita. Please tell us about your company and the development of your operations in recent years.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Edyta Jaworska, Management Board of Selvita. So maybe let me briefly comment who we are, what we do. So basically, Selvita is a contract research organization supporting pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies in drug discovery and drug development efforts. So our main focus is basically to have an impact on improving patients' life by supporting our partners' programs in various therapeutic areas. For example, in oncology, CNS, inflammation, antiviral drug discovery, respiratory, and also many others. For example, in drug discovery space, we basically support our clients starting from hit identification till nomination of a preclinical candidate. Whereas when it comes to drug development, we help our clients to implement their products on the market by performing analytical testing of both small molecules and biologics. Selvita was established in 2007. Currently, we employ over 800 employees. So that the number has grown significantly, I must admit, starting from 2007. We are headquartered here in Kraków, in Poland. We have a daughter company in Croatia, and also we foreign offices in the States and also in the UK. The company is public, so we are listed on the Warsaw Stock Market. For example, last year we were named the Stock Company of the Year in the competition organized by Puls Biznesu, the largest business daily in Poland, what we are especially proud of. Maybe some of you remember Selvita as a biotechnology company with a pipeline in oncology and 2 programs in the clinical trials. So let me just clarify that in October 2019, we decided to split Selvita into 2 separate legal entities. So one of them is currently Review Therapeutics, and this is the biotechnology company focused on the development of new breakthrough therapies in oncology. whereas Selvita currently is pure contract research organization supporting pharma and biotech companies. Thank you.
Thank you. Agnieszka, could you tell us more about Arjun?
Yes, of course. Good morning. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here today and have the opportunity to introduce Arjun. At Arjun, we are harnessing artificial intelligence methods for novel precision medicine. Through our expertise in bioinformatics, machine learning, structural modeling, and software engineering, we are able to advance drug development and therapy development. We provide services in 4 main areas: immunology, microbiome, biomedical imaging, and digital CRO. The key to our success is combination of AI methods and experiments. These AI lab cycles help us to increase the accuracy of our results and reduce the amount and time of experiments necessary to meet our goals. 2 examples of AI platforms developed by the immunology department led by myself are ArdImmuneVax and TCR-ACT. ArdImmuneVax platform uses the sequencing data to generate and prioritize antigen targets for cancer vaccines and T-cell therapies. With a complex approach to biological problems and cutting-edge AI technology, we are able to set ourselves apart from the competition. As a proof of how good Arjun and how advanced Arjun solution is, we have been invited to join Tesla Consortium, established by Parker Institute of Cancer Immunotherapy and Cancer Research Institute in the US. The invitation is only directed to the best in the field, and we have been very happy to join. Our next platform, ArdImmune TCR-ACT, enable us to discover T-cell receptors. Many of you have surely admired the advantages brought to the hematological malignancies by the CAR T-cell therapies. We believe that therapies based on engineered TCRs have more compelling advantages and will revolutionize the treatment of solid tumors. Our platform will enable us to generate synthetic TCRs. Currently, we are able to optimize the existing ones by using modules of our platform, like off-target toxicity prediction or TCR optimization.
Thank you. And Kazimierz, from different angle,
yeah, thank you. Thank
you
for
are
having me
managing
here.
director of LifeScience Kraków cluster. Could you please introduce this organization to our viewers? Maybe you could tell us about initiatives that are run through the cluster, with the cluster, and in the cluster, and about the members that are part of this community.
Yeah, thank you again for having me here, for having us here. My name is Kazimierz Murzyn. I'm managing director of the LifeScience Kraków cluster. This is the cluster is a network, local network of entities involved in development of innovations for health and quality of life in general. Derived from life sciences. It's quite a broad definition of activity of partners. It covers value chains in biotechnology, health technologies, digital health technologies, food, bioeconomy as well. We have our structure of organization, because this is a network organization exemplifying the so-called triple, quadruple, or even quadruple plus helix. We have innovation business entities like Selvita, Rivo, or Ardigen, universities which provide education, universities active in life sciences, R&D institutions, research institutions, national or localized here or local operating from here, business support organizations which have which do not provide activities, run activities in life science itself, but they have service for life science companies and the community, like headhunting, like lawyers, like teachers, etc. Hospitals, the healthcare organizations, and the local government actively supporting these activities. So having in the region something about 450 organizations in terms of companies, innovative companies, and more close to 100 active members, we are kind of active player, important player in local regional strategy and innovation ecosystem. And also we are active at the national level, in international level as an organization, as a network. Talking about the national level, it's worth to mention that we hold the title of National Key Cluster.
Thank you for these introductions. Now I would like to move us to the topic that will show our viewers what set of circumstances allowed your companies to thrive in Krakow. Selvita is employing over 800 employees, as you shared, Edyta, and you are reaching a broad portfolio of customers. What do you think was the most important asset that you found in Krakow that allowed such an incredible growth since 2007?
Speaking about the most important assets, these are definitely people. I mean, here in Krakow, we have access to a number of really excellent scientists. So like every year, there are over 1,000 new life science graduates here in Krakow. Quite many of them are actually graduating from the Jagiellonian University, one of the oldest universities in Europe, having really a long-term history in educating life science students and also letting them to gain international experience. I can just name two, the most famous probably Jagiellonian University graduates, like Nicolaus Copernicus, or for example in our industry, Leo Sternbach, who was a Jewish chemist who studied at the Jagiellonian University in Krakow. Then he moved to Roche and invented Valium, the most prescribed drug in the world. So when it comes to Selvita, so here we have opportunity to recruit from a number of faculties. For us, the most important are medicinal and analytical chemistry, but also biotechnology, biochemistry, biology, and many others. So this is one part when it comes to people that we recruit here in Krakow. But definitely we also recruit people abroad. If we want to find scientists with, let's say, long-term industrial experience, we need to try to look people also in other countries. And here, Krakow definitely also helps. So I can just say that currently the number of foreign employees is over 20%. We have like more than 25 different nationalities. Let me just name a few. Croatia, Ukraine, Italy, Mexico, India, Germany, UK, US. So actually I would say from the whole world. And Krakow is the place that really helps us to encourage those scientists to move to Poland. Krakow is a very well-known city for the majority of foreigners, as they perceive it as a very attractive place for not only sightseeing, but also sometimes for living, for finding new job opportunities. So this is definitely something what helps us a lot. So if I would have to, let's say, sum up, so speaking about the most important assets, these are human resources above all, but also growing research infrastructure. Also, I would say the excellent scientific environment here and a history of drug discovery, drug development in the Krakow area. These are the biggest potential of this part of Poland. And I think that due to that fact, all these numerous employees at Selvita help to build this multidisciplinary, multicultural working environment at our company, which is definitely an impact for others to join us.
Thank you. Agnieszka, Artigen product line is very different from that of Selvita. Delivery of your services requires access to different variety of skills than that of Selvita. Are you able to find them in Krakow as well?
Yes, to be able to successfully deliver and complete over 180 complex projects for the clients all over the world within the last 5 years, we've been requiring a variety of skill sets, and some of them quite unusual for a life science company. We particularly build our skill sets in bioinformatics, machine learning, software engineering, and modeling. And domain knowledge in immunology, cancer biology, biomedical imaging, and microbiome. Poland, especially Krakow, as Edyta mentioned, with the Jagiellonian University, have a great tradition of educating highly skilled experts in life science. And thanks to high standard of education at Jagiellonian University and at the AGH University of Science and Technology, as well as it being a birthplace to many IT businesses, Krakow is definitely a well-recognized in the world as an AI hub. And many of our employees have their primary degrees in Poland and PhDs and postdocs abroad. And it's their love of Krakow that brings them back home. Moreover, we offer our machine learning and AI experts a very unique opportunity to work in meaningful projects beyond their primary field. Many of them, they are just tired of working on self-driving cars or monitoring social media. With us, they get a chance at working toward saving lives and creating cancer treatments. This is why our motto, Code Against Cancer, is that drives our staff. So in summary, what I can say is that the drug pipelines of the future will definitely not exist without modern bioinformatics and machine learning tools. And Krakow is definitely a place that provides us with resources to be leader in our field.
Thank you. Since 2006, if I'm not wrong, Life Science Cluster operates in Krakow, in Małopolska. You bring together cooperation in the network of institutions and companies that you mentioned before in our whole region. Could you please tell us more about the companies that build the ecosystem and whether you saw growth in numbers of these companies and maybe also in quality of these companies in the region in this period of time from 2006 until now?
It's difficult to discuss, to talk about numbers because it changes. It's actually quite a dynamic growth all over the time. I would say we can observe three trends, at least three. I had in my mind two, but now I added third one, which was very important. I will start with third one. It's actually kind of emerging domains like digital health in Krakow. It's combination between life sciences and IT, two strengths of previous strengths of life sciences. So this type of phenomena it can be visible in many places. Contract research organizations and clinical trials organizations also grow in number and in quality. But generally speaking, Kraków or Małopolska life science ecosystem works as any similar type of ecosystem in the world. I mean there are a number of startups. Since 2006, I don't have in mind in head the number of startups which came in the life science field, and many of them just failed, as it is normal in any ecosystem. Some of them grew very dynamically. The Selvita and the Artigen are two the best, most prominent examples, but there are many others. The other companies which, for example, started even this network, this organization in 2006. They rebranded, they changed, they developed new technologies, they changed the value chains, etc. So they grew in general, and they are now stronger and go internationally. They start operations internationally. And yes, that was something which is worth to mention, that we observe everything what's happening in any well-established innovation ecosystem here in Kraków. Those changes are natural. We are somehow in a very complex ecosystem when many things are going out, changing, mixing, and but in general we observe that there is a general growth in terms of quality and quantity of companies. Not only companies, it's also worth to mention that not only the businesses are create a part of ecosystem. For example, Science Leg is very important. A Science Leg which developed due to the funds, due to the different types of opportunities which they will be able to reach for. They developed their background, their capacity in providing the modern art. And there are new endeavors like what to mention, SANO, which itself as an international research organization, an international research foundation, can be treated as a startup with 30 million euros seed fund. To develop its operations as a applied research organization in digital health domain, and we have in plans many others. So in that domain, so I think everything goes well.
Mm-hmm. Great. So 2019 and 2020 brought unexpected challenges, not only to Poland but the whole world. The COVID pandemic hit us. Now we can say that your industry, life sciences, biotech, wasn't affected hugely by the pandemic. But I wonder whether COVID pandemic changed your international outreach in any way. Was that the case in Selvita maybe?
I would say that it's like on the contrary. It helped us not only in the growth of our business, but also in gaining new customers. Mm-hmm. So all these trends related to, for example, stop of the activity of some CROs in China, later on in India, caused that American companies or even Western European companies were looking for some alternatives. And this is where we appeared. I must say that currently for us the two most dynamic markets are the US and the UK. Mm-hmm. So probably this helped us somehow, though there were also some constraints, maybe less on the drug discovery services, but more for drug development, where there were some delays or cease of the production of the pharmaceuticals. So basically we didn't have enough material to be tested, enough product to be tested. So I would say that there are some definitely negative consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic, but also some positive ones for us at least. Also, regarding our international outreach, so I think that it maybe was less relevant or less dependent on the situation with the pandemic. Basically, Selvita has always been focused on international markets. Let me just mention that over 90% of our revenues come from other markets than Poland. And this was the result that from the beginning our sales team was able to travel from Kraków to other destinations to visit customers, to participate in numerous events, biotech and pharma conferences first. And on the top of that, in 2015, 2016, we decided to make the next step of our corporate development. And we actually established or created our new foreign offices, two in the States, one in the UK. So in the UK, it's based in Cambridge, and in the States, in Boston, and then near San Francisco area. So we simply realized that we need to stay a bit closer to our clients, that being located only in Poland, it's not sufficient if you really want to go global. Mm-hmm. And there is one more important step in our corporate development, which actually happened this year, at the beginning of this year. It was January, when we acquired Fidelta. This is a CRO from Croatia. This was really a breakthrough for Selvita, as till that moment we had been growing only organically, and for the first time we acquired a company. Fidelta belonged previously to Galapagos Group, And it brought to Selvita Group great experience, over 180 very skilled scientists, major expertise in such therapeutic areas like inflammation, anti-infectives, also fibrosis. So this is really perfect match with our experience in oncology and CNS. So I believe that there are always some kind of advantages and disadvantages, like also in the situation of the COVID-19 pandemic. But I wouldn't say that we limited our international outreach, we even further expanded it.
Great to hear that. Agnieszka, you again have a different portfolio of clients and different portfolio of employees. And I wonder how the pandemic affected your business and your international outreach.
Yeah, so one of the main differences between Artigen and Selvita is the amount of laboratory work. So although we heavily rely on the laboratory experiments data, we mostly work on computers. And therefore the pandemic lockdown didn't affect us at all. And in contrary, we were able to seamlessly move into the remote work model, which is not surprising for an IT company. And paradoxically, the needs of life science have been rapidly growing over the pandemic, which allowed us not only to continue our operations, but also to grow the number of projects and staff at the company. With all the analysis, forecasts, and developments, it has been a great time for AI-driven technologies, and we've been benefiting from it. On the business side, we have also noticed many positive effects. With people all around the world working from home, the distance stopped being so visible and enabled us to open new channels of collaborations. And to give you a few examples of how my business unit were able to deliver during this difficult time, we've been able to discuss and design laboratory experiments with our partner in Denmark while optimizing a COVID-19 vaccines with partners in New Zealand and presenting new toxicity platform at 2 conferences. This might have been a logistical challenge in the past, but nowadays with our new reality, our outreach is almost limitless.
Great to hear that. And Kazimierz, could you tell us about the companies, institutions that work together in the cluster, and maybe how you facilitate this international outreach of these entities?
First, I must stress that we as a cluster do not work only solely for our partners. We work for all the companies present here in Małopolska region. And so we support all. Some of them are treated better because they are our partners and active partners. And this situation is difficult. It is difficult to answer this question in a number because the situation is very dynamic. It changes very dynamically. We assume that we expect or assume that something like more than 70% of these innovative companies from Małopolska, probably more, are active internationally. And we are supporting them in different ways, through many programs, projects, either directly supporting or subsidizing their participation in international events, organizing international events. We are part of the international networks which allow them, those companies, to be involved in the projects. Sano, for example, is a great project we developed together with partners from Poland, from Kraków, and also from other countries. We are part of the international projects financed from Horizon 2020, in which we collaborate with the great clusters, other clusters in Europe, from Munich, from Wallonia, from France. We are part of the European Cluster Alliance, so we have actually access to whole Europe, which allows us to actually support our companies interested in internationalization to go there and find partners. This is very important. So by being a local, let's say, network and being a part of the similar networks in Europe, we actually create the network of life science organizations in whole Europe, and through that channel we can actually support every organization from this area to become part of the international endeavors. But also we do vice versa. I mean, we introduce or bring those internationals to Poland, to Kraków, for events, for different types of conferences, meetings, etc. It's worth to mention Life Science Open Space, which is being the annual event run since 12 years. And in which there are countries, we have participants from all over the world. Last year it was, because the COVID, only digital, and we had participants from 14 countries, but before last year, when it was live, it was the same number of participants, the same number of countries represented during this event.
Thank you for the insight into the ecosystem of Krakow in life science sector. Because of the time constraints, we will have to summarize. The outcome of the discussion, I think, points us to the conclusions that Krakow is a stable, safe place for growth of life science companies. The life science companies that focus on IT, that focus on AI and data science, as well as laboratory work, CRO companies like Selvita. There are institutions, scientific institutions like Sano, opening here, growing here on this more scientific leg. Krakow and Małopolska region is honored in many rankings. In 2020, for example, Krakow was ranked third as the best destination to invest in CEE region. And companies find here great space to grow, to relocate here. The relocated management will find in Krakow home with access to international schools, cultural life, and big community of expats that are working in companies like Selvita, Artigen, and many others. For example, in business shared services that are huge in Krakow and Małopolska as well. And Krakow Technology Park, the institution that I represent, help the companies in the whole process of investing in Małopolska. Starting with finding a proper location, connecting with cooperants, granting tax incentives for new investment in our region. I must stress that the Polish Investment Zone program is run by our entity, and through us we are able to grant 35% of tax break for new investments in our region. And starting in January 2022, this support will be higher by 5%, and it will amount to 40%. And I will have to summarize by saying in my name and in name of Selvita, Artigen, and Life Science Krakow Cluster, you are invited to join us in Krakow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.